Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
It is 11:02 on The Lock Shop on a Monday morning. Thank you very much for being here. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. Hit us up in the nasty chat as well. I see Jake's adding in Avs, Oilers, both to win their second round series, Mac and Mick. Oh, are we getting that in a little exclusive? I'll take it. Huss is just doing a quick pre-tape for Winnipeg Sports Talk. He is going to be by shortly. We will have Jake from Coolbet pop in, Leafs post-mortem with old Jakey boy. Pete Greggy was going to hop on for a victory lap, but he had an appointment. He, of course, was on Pendrith at 80-1 last week, and Pendrith cashes. Hopefully some of you were riding with Jake, or with Pat on that one. I'm watching Murray McCourt right now give YouTube Trev golf lessons in the studio. Look at this. This is wild. Murray's just going, we're going to get a picture of this. The merman.
I need to get on this.
Working on a swing. You want to get in on that, Zach Dickham?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about golfing. I barely know which way I swing, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah, you must really suck.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, well, you need to get Murray to get in there and help you with that as well. What's going on around here today? We got Murray McCourt giving out golf lessons. We got Matthew Wannock refusing to make predictions now, like he's some sort of hockey insider and doesn't want to ruin any of his contacts. I mean, what do we do? Why is that guy not going to pick a series? Like, to me, if you're not picking the Oilers, like Matty says, I'm not making predictions. Okay, well then, if he's not picking the Oilers, he's taking the Canucks. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're giving, I guess, hope, and not that you have to doubt the Canucks, but just being neutral, you're not being neutral.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is, anyway, he comes over and goes, I don't make predictions anymore. I said, you're the guy in Vegas who said that if they beat Vegas, they're going to easily win the Stanley Cup. He goes, well, I'm back to my normal self. I'm not making predictions anymore. I mean, my goodness, Wannock, you're killing me here. Absolutely killing me. All right, 780-218-9999. We are going to let somebody qualify. I'll give you a little keyword a little bit later on there for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, which is rolling into town. We got a VIP table that we are giving away for the Friday show right now. We're also doing for the Saturday. We're also going to do one for Sunday. Friday show, Shane Gillis and Schultz. And, of course, Schultz was one of the roasters of Tom Brady last night. So, and Kevin Hart's coming on that show. He was there last night. Bert Kreischer was on that show last night. He's coming to this Great Outdoor Comedy Festival. So it's a great lineup. We'll give you a chance to win a VIP table to the Friday night. I think it's July 12th, coming up a little bit later on. Let's bring in Huss. Big news out of Winnipeg today. Lots to discuss with Andrew Hustler Patterson. Huss, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
What's going on? I'm kind of jealous listening to the VIP table for that Great Outdoors. It's coming here too, but it's different comics.
Yeah.
You guys have Gillis coming too?
We got Gillis and Schultz on the Friday night, and then Kevin Hart on Saturday night, and then Bert Kreischer and Whitney Cummings on Sunday night. So it's a hell of a line. I think this might be the best comedian lineup that we've had ever. Like, this has been outstanding.
I mean, this is, I think Bill Burr's coming here, Louis C.K.
Oh, that's good.
A couple other ones. Yeah, for sure. I'm a big Gillis fan of Shane Gillis. He cracks me up. So that should be a lot of fun. But yeah, big news today. Bones retiring from coaching. So we'll have a big show today talking about that. We'll carry the press conference live at 2 p.m. Winnipeg time. Moving forward. So, I mean, obviously it's all about next year right now around in Winnipeg, and it's now all about next year in Toronto.
Yes.
In Vegas and in Nashville. I know Jake's going to come on a little bit later on, but it was a pretty fun weekend. I mean, if you like tense, tight Game 7 hockey, we got it on Saturday night, and then again last night. What a performance by the Stars coming back to grind it out. And you know what? I just realized this. I had one of the Coolbet exclusives, which came through, was I don't know what was it called. It was basically the division winners to win the first series. Yeah, Canucks, Rangers, Stars, and Panthers, all to win their series. Was boosted to plus 500. So that one came in. I kind of had forgot that I was on that from the beginning of the playoffs, but noticed that, the account's looking a little better today. What could that be from? And yes, it was. So thank you, Dallas Stars. And let's face it, most fans around the National Hockey League thanking Dallas as well for taking care of the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round, who have become, well, the enemies of most today, this season. And the LTIR 61 shirt that Mark Stone's wife posed with that got everyone laughing.
Yeah.
I mean, that no one's too upset for the Vegas Golden Knights. They had a pretty good summer last year, and they'll be back trying to do it again next.
All right, you can hit us up in the nasty chat over on YouTube. Hammer the thumbs up for us if you're watching Lock Shop on YouTube today, and obviously if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, just slide on in to the inbox. We had somebody actually. Let me get to this one text here. It says, "Victory Monday today, guys. I was on Pendrith at actually 101-1. Love seeing the Big Maple get it done." That's in from Wild Card Willis today. P. Greg, you really want to hop on today. It was funny because Jake was just like, "I'm coming on Monday. Gonna talk about the Leafs," and then P. Greggy was like, "Nope. I'm coming on to take my Pendy victory lap." And then we're like, well, maybe we'll get all four of us on. And then turns out Patty forgot he had an appointment today, so he couldn't make it. So Jake's going to join us in about 20 minutes. But what a tournament for Pendrith, buddy. That was amazing.
Dude, did you watch like the last few holes? Did you see the
I followed along on social media on the last few holes, yes.
Oh, listen, that poor guy, and I've already forgot his name. I'm not sure whether we'll ever hear from him again after what happened on the 18th hole. For people that didn't see it, Pendy was down a shot playing the 18th hole, and he had two like big time knee knocker par saves on 16 and 17, including one that did the full double flush toilet bowl, full revolution around the hole before dropping in. The Pendy was on into his opponent was short in the rough and just basically chunked his chip. Did not get it out of the rough. Got it on and had about a 6-footer or so for par and missed it. And to put it into perspective, Dusty, the bogey that he hit on 18 was the only bogey on the 18th hole by anybody.
No.
In the final round.
Ouch.
So, but hey, our guy Pendy took advantage of it. What a tournament. Sinks the putt and gets his first PGA Tour win. And I mean, listen, as a Coolbet guys, it was great to see that patch. I mean, I think their sponsorship paid for itself in one afternoon with the amount of time that Pendrith was on putting or playing with the old Coolbet bear on the shoulder. So, yes, Patty deserves big props. He dropped that as an outright on Wednesday's golf show. And let's face it, the Pendy victory lap will continue throughout the week. And when Pat joins us on Wednesday, he will get his just desserts and flowers for the winners for the Lock Shop. But great day.
Continuing to recap the weekend, Penner's Pancakes is asking, Huss, what are your thoughts on the absolutely ballistic backlash crowd in France? Oh. Have you ever seen a crowd like that before? Huss, bring me up to speed on this. What happened?
Okay, so they did this WWE, what do they call it now? A premium live event in Lyon, France. And they did a SmackDown show on Friday, and then they did the event on Saturday. And the best way I can describe it is if you took the craziest, rowdiest, most organized soccer crowd and put them into an arena for wrestling, that was what it was. I mean, they had all of these songs. They had a few things that they did every time there was a 2 count. They started chanting something. But it was almost like everyone had gone through training as to how to react to everything beforehand. I mean, as a North American sports fan, it honestly, it's hard to wrap your head around just how instinctive so many of these things are. But they absolutely took over the event and stole the show. And I think we'll probably see a lot more big events, overseas in areas like that, not only because the product ends up being so good, but I think they're realizing that the WWE is so big now. There's so much money to be made around the world. I mean, it doesn't necessarily always work out for television time here in North America, but I think they're realizing that's a small price to pay. But if you haven't seen it, I mean, click back if you have the opportunity to do it. It was unlike anything that I've seen before. And there's been some wild crowds after Mania with lots of people coming over from overseas, but that was Penner's Pancakes was exactly right. Had never seen anything like that before. A lot of fun to watch.
I love Mark in the Nasty Chat says, un, deux, sacre bleu.
Yeah.
It's just,
that's what it was.
Yeah, that's, people from other countries are hilarious. I mean, that's something that you kind of just have to determine. Like, hey, did you check? What? Go ahead.
I said I'm envious. I mean,
yeah.
Sorry about that. They're doing some alarm testing that like come through every now and then.
Hey, speaking of hilarious, did you catch any of the Brady roast, buddy?
I did not. I
gotta watch
catch
it
up on that today.
You gotta watch it.
This was last night?
It was last night live on Netflix. I got in a little bit behind it. I didn't even start watching it till 8:30. So, but I watched the entire thing. I skipped over the Randy Moss stuff. Randy Moss wasn't very funny, but everybody. I mean, it was. If you like, I'm a huge roast guy. I love roasts, so I watch them all. But this was. I mean, this was great. It was awkward enough because Brady. I'm not sure he knew what he was getting into. Like, there were some looks on his face a few times where he was like, "Ugh, like I don't know about this." Like, because in a roast, man, it's like the only place in the world now you can say stuff and not get canceled is on one of those televised roasts. People are like, "This is hilarious" because it's on a roast, and then you say something in real life, you're like, "What an asshole!" Like, what's this guy thinking? So the roast last night was, I mean, Gronk was targeted so many times by everybody for being an idiot. And he just comes across as one. He's like sitting there clapping like a child. I was just like, my God, Gronk. Who else is good? Drew Bledsoe was awesome. Bledsoe was the first guy to roast after Kevin Hart hosted. Jeff Ross was there, roast master, and then they started with Drew Bledsoe. Bledsoe was great. Ron Burgundy came out at one point. Peyton Manning makes a special appearance. He kills it. And then a bunch of comedians who were fun. Like a bunch of the guys who were coming here were actually on that roast last night. So it's definitely worth it, man. I'd watch, honestly, outside of Randy Moss wasn't very good. Outside of that, I'd watch the entire thing start to finish. It was that funny. You would enjoy it. And then Brady hops on in the end and fires back, but he took a lot of heat. There was a lot of Aaron Hernandez jokes throughout the night, including one from Brady. Belichick was great. It was really well done, man. It was really well done.
Where did they do it?
Netflix Live from the Forum in Los Angeles, from the old Great Western Forum. And it was funny. One of the first ones, I think it was Jeff Ross, who was like, "Yeah, we're here at the Forum tonight," which is also the way Gronk counts to 5. 4, 5. I was just like, Gronk everybody had Gronk jokes last night. And I'm not sure he understood a bunch of it to the point where people are like, "Hey, Julian Edelman, can you explain that joke to Gronk for us?" Like he took a lot of heat last night, but it was a who's who, man. There was a lot of people there for that one, and it's definitely for sports fans. It's definitely worth checking out if you want to laugh at all. It was extremely well done. I
am in. I will look forward to it. And jokes made at Tom Brady's expense. Sign me up. Yeah. Sign me up for that. I've been. I'm all on it. Now, I'm just going to need to find some time because we are into the second round now.
Yes, we are.
One series already has begun yesterday. I know all the focus is on Game 7 with the Stars and Knights, but I'll tell you what, that Carolina Ranger game was pretty fun, and I still don't get it. Like the Rangers.
You see the series price in this thing? right now?
Yes.
I don't get it. Minus 135. They're already up 1-0 in the series, and it's minus 135.
Carolina plus 115, Rangers minus 135. But they were a pretty significant favorite beforehand. Like, well, here's all you need to know. Cup odds, Carolina plus 450, Rangers plus 600.
Even
Still,
after being right now.
Yeah. If you want good value, I'd say Rangers at plus 600, being up, already having a game in the second round, maybe the best value on the board.
Well, it's crazy because the Rangers are already one game up in Carolina. They're minus 135 favorite. Panthers are a minus 200 favorite. Dallas is a minus 122 favorite, and the Oilers are the biggest favorite of the first round here at minus 270. But for the New York Rangers to already have a 1-0 series lead on Carolina and still just be minus 135 favorites, I think that's quite interesting.
Well, and of course we got Bruins, Florida, beginning tonight. Florida minus 169 on the money line. The Bruins plus 143. I don't know about you, but I think, and I said this before Game 7, whoever wins this series between Boston and Toronto, I think is going to get worked by the Florida Panthers, who have extra rested. I mean, ready to go.
I said on my show this morning, I think the best play in that is Florida in regulation tonight, minus 103. Minus 103 for the Panthers to win in regulation against Boston, coming off that series against Toronto. We already like Florida heavily in this series anyway. That was one of my two kind of shortlisted plays for the Coolbet hotline of the day tonight. And I've already parlayed it, actually. Panthers in regulation tonight with Anthony Edwards over 29.5 points. It's like plus 222. So I'm already on that one tonight.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, I was trying to use that 20% multiplier, which we get on playoffs every weekend on Coolbet, trying to figure out what my best bet to use that on was. I ended up doubling down on the Nuggets after they lost.
You did, hey?
Yeah. So,
because what are they? Are they plus 115 right now to win that series?
Plus 115. Plus 115 to win the series after dropping the first one. And they're minus 227 favorites to win Game 2. Plus 113 for the Nuggets, and the T-Wolves minus 139. That being said, what a performance by the T-Wolves. I mean, there's a lot of people that haven't really seen Minnesota at all at any point this season. I mean, they're kind of like the Carolina Hurricanes, if you will, of the, like a really good team, but not usually on national TV or anything like that. That's going to change, of course, now with Anthony Edwards becoming one of the superstars in the game. But they're the real deal. I mean, Denver's going to have to work for it. I still think that they can be better and that they will get it done. But this will be a long series. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and Edwards is, I mean, back-to-back 40-point games, had 40 in that game to finish off the Suns, comes back with 43 here, and get him at 29.5 is where his total's set tonight. And he's shooting the ball a ton. He's a guy that needs to be in a bigger national spotlight because you're right, Huss. I mean, a lot of people might not get to watch him on a regular basis, but my goodness, that kid is, and he's a kid. I mean, he's a freak. And then they got the two bigs. They got two bigs. It's not just Anthony Davis on his own trying to go against Jokic. They got a couple of bigs. I think I saw Jokic was quoted after the game saying he needs to clone himself to play against those two guys. So we'll see. We'll see where it's at. But I mean, they are the defending champs. They definitely can play better than they played in the first game. But Edwards is something special for sure.
As far as the games go tonight, I know we're going to get back to the hockey in a minute, but we do get actually doubleheader tonight.
Yep.
Pacers, Knicks get going. Knicks minus 208 favorites. Pacers plus 175 for the game. And then Nuggets, Timberwolves tonight with Denver at minus 227. Just kind of look the Pacers, Knicks. Whoa. Knicks, big-time favorite, minus 250. Pacers, plus 200 for the series.
For the series, yeah. Timberwolves, by the way, 5.5-point dogs tonight on the road in Denver in Game 2. They are 5-0 against the spread so far in the playoffs. So whether they're dogs or favorites or whatever, they've covered the spread in all 5 games so far in the playoffs. So that's something that you want to take into account before you place any wagers tonight on the association. Huss, I laid it out earlier. I mean, Florida in regulation tonight, I think, is some pretty decent value. You can get them at minus 103. But what else? Anything else from this game? Any player props or what do you? I mean, do you like the Bruins to keep it close? What do you think tonight?
I don't think much of the Bruins. Like, I think they dodged a bullet. They'll have like this sense of relief that, okay, we didn't choke again like we did last year. But and who knows? I mean, all season long, I thought, you know what, maybe if Boston played Florida in the playoffs, they could, return the favor of what happened last year. But just watching that series, I think that Florida's playing at a whole nother level than either Toronto or Boston is. I mean, Matthew Tkachuk, let's see, player points. What are the numbers here? I mean, Tkachuk minus 255 for a point. Reinhart minus 243. As far as goals go, Sam Reinhart plus 116. He seems to be a scoring machine right now. Maybe throw a little sprinkle down on Sammy, who, by the way, I mean, I know we've talked about this before, but you think about the season that he had, popping 50, going into unrestricted free agency.
Oh my God!
You add on a strong playoff run. I mean, he's going to be banking it. You might get a Mitch Marner-like contract right now.
Those always work out well.
God, we're basically gods in this town. But that's really being taken well by Toronto. And the Leafs are doing their media today. We'll talk about this with Jake.
Yeah.
GM and Shanahan aren't speaking until Thursday.
It's a big gap.
Which is a very big gap. You wonder what's happening. You wonder what's happening in between. Okay. What about Vancouver, Edmonton? I have to say something right off the bat.
Okay.
And I don't know whether you and people in the chat let me know what you think. Because, I mean, I assume the majority of people, certainly from your neck of the woods, are Oiler fans. Is it at all concerning that literally everybody is picking the Oilers and picking them so convincingly? Like, no one is giving Vancouver almost any chance to win this series. And that is making my spidey senses go off, to be perfectly honest with you. And the number keeps going up, too. Vancouver, you can get them now at plus 220 for the series.
I had predicted the Oilers in 6 before they eliminated the Kings and before the Canucks had eliminated the Preds. I like the head-to-head this year. It's very much, remember the Winnipeg? What did you say? Winnipeg owned Colorado in the regular season, right? Look what happened in the playoffs. Vancouver,
7-0.
Yeah, Vancouver was 4-0 against the Oilers, but 3 of those games were in the first 11 before the coaching change. The last one, really, there wasn't much going on. So I put zero stock into the regular season between these two. None at all whatsoever. So then you look just to this matchup right now, and I think the fact that the Canucks, I mean, who knows when Demko returns, if at all, and nothing against Shilovs, who, played well in the brief moments he got in against the Nashville Predators. I mean, that's not Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on the scariest power play arguably we've ever seen in the history of the National Hockey League against a Canucks penalty kill that's middle of the pack. So I understand why everybody's picking the Oilers to win this series. I too am on the Oilers to win this series in 6. But it is, I mean, yeah, it's so heavily lopsided that, still Jake's a little fishy. He's the fish sense guy, right? He's always like, oh, this is fishy. I just don't know. I mean, goaltending injuries are going to cause a concern. Pettersson did nothing in the first round. I think they're a little bit concerned about that. Plus, I think when you look at the Oilers coming out of that first round with a power play at 50% and a penalty kill at 100%, people like where that team's at right now. They're completely healthy. Like, it shouldn't be too much of an issue from that standpoint. So, I mean, I'm a little surprised that everybody's on it. But at the same time, if like 3/4 of people were on it, I totally see where they're coming from here. What do you think? What do you think from outside the market? Like,
Well, I just think, and listen, this has nothing to do with Edmonton, but I think people are completely overlooking Vancouver.
Like they have all season, right?
Exactly. Like, I mean, and even in the first round, a lot of people thought Nashville was going to win. And for them to play the way they did, to win with 3 different goaltenders, to bring in a kid from the AHL and beat a Predators team that was built for the playoffs and actually playing quite well. Like, I just think that Vancouver deserves a little bit more credit. Like, the real odds for me, like the real odds of this series are a lot closer in my mind than what we're seeing right now and what people are betting. I mean, it's quite clear that all the money's been on Edmonton. Like earlier this weekend, once we knew, like this series opened at Edmonton minus 250 and Vancouver plus 200. Well, you can get the Canucks now at plus 220 and you got to lay minus 270 on the Oilers. Like every year there's a big upset or two from teams that are expected more. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think this will be close. I think it'll be competitive. And I don't see Edmonton just wiping the floor with Vancouver like so many people think. Hey, have you looked at the Stars Avalanche series yet?
I have not looked at any of those prices yet.
What do you think? Let's go. What do you think the odds are for the for Dallas, Colorado? Before
I looked at. I didn't dive into the series. I did look at the odds. I know it's minus 122 for Dallas. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend that I didn't. Yeah,
plus money for the Avs.
Yeah, plus money on the Avs.
Plus money for the Avs after a short series, and Dallas had to go the distance with Vegas. I mean, as I said, I'm just trying to manifest this Colorado Edmonton round 3. Although I also just kind of manifested a Canucks upset 2 seconds ago in the same conversation. But that is what I want to see. I want to see Edmonton win, Colorado win, and we get McKinnon versus McDavid again. In the conference finals, winner goes to the Stanley Cup. And I do like Colorado. I think there's great value on Colorado at plus 104 in this series.
Yeah, for them to be as good as they were, to be getting any sort of plus money is probably too good to pass up at this point. What say you over in the Nasty Chat? You can text us 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We do have that VIP table that we are giving away for the Great Outdoor Comedy Festival. If you want to get in the mix for that bad boy right now, just text the word laugh to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. We're not calling a qualifier every day like we did with the Vegas trip, but one of the boys will draw a winner and be in touch to get you into the grand prize draw for that VIP table to the Friday night show. Shane Gillis and Andrew Schultz headlining on Friday night for the Great Outdoor Comedy Festival here in Edmonton.
What's the date on that?
It's July 12th. Yeah, so July 12th, 13th, 14th weekend, I do believe.
May have to...
What, are you thinking of coming out?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a pretty good weekend to get out to Edmonton.
Should be, I'm sure I'll be off somewhere else doing CFL stuff, but yeah, it'd be should be a good weekend. So yeah, text laugh to 780-218-9999. That's laugh, not Leafs. Let's bring in Jake from Coolbet. He joins us. Jake,
yeah.
How'd you get through it, buddy?
Let's talk about Pendrith.
Yeah, let's start with Pendy. Let's start with Pendy. Uh-oh.
Hey, we can't hear him.
We can't hear you. Can you hear us? Just a sec.
I'm muted.
There you go. You're good.
There we go.
You know exactly how I got through it. We won a golf tournament yesterday, gentlemen. CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. We don't need no Stanley Cup. We got the CJ Cup. That's what Patty told me to say.
Jake, Jake, you seem super quiet. I don't know if your earbuds or whatever, your mic or, I don't know, you seem super quiet. Husty, seem super quiet to you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second here, gentlemen. I'm not
actually,
sure
no,
that's the case.
You started to sound a little bit better there.
Maybe maybe when we get a little closer, I get up personal here.
Yeah, there you go.
There we are.
Stay there.
All right.
Talk louder.
Been there.
Tell us about Pendy.
Yeah, what a day yesterday. I was dialed in pretty much from the back nine onwards. I I was driving back to my buddy's cottage, but we stopped in at my girlfriend's parents' place, threw it on the TV when the coverage started on TSN, and it was crazy. Like, the finish was insane. I know Huss already touched on it, but he made a great shot on 15. I believe it was a par 3, 15, and wasn't able to get that one to fall. And then on 17, Ben Coles made a monster birdie putt to take a one-shot lead. And, you hate to prey on somebody else's downfall. I thought, Ben had a great final round. But when he flubbed the chip on 18, I hate to say it, I was cheering because Pendy had put it on in 2. He had a 2 putt for a birdie. Coles ended up missing his par putt. I think Huss said as the first guy to bogey that hole of the entire day, all day. And Penny standing over that birdie. He said it felt like 6 feet. He said when it realistically it was probably only a couple feet, but it was such a great moment. I posted the video yesterday, like a 30-second video of me standing in front of the TV. I was so fired up for him. It was such a great moment. And then, like you said, Huss, the Coolbet's been all over golf media the past 2 days. That PGA actually just posted another video. They were showing the security guard footage. It's a great angle of the logo. So I just fire retweets on everything. If you go to the Coolbet socials and you missed yesterday's action, I tweeted a zillion different articles, and there's a ton of great pictures of the bear and Pendy, and what a moment.
Hey, I have to ask you something. I got to ask you something because you said you're coming back from the cottage, and you pop by your girlfriend's parents' house to watch that. You did, was your girlfriend's family watching you record that video of Pendrith on the putt on the final one, or did you have a private area to pull that off?
No, I was right in front of everybody. It was just too big of a moment. I could not have something live for when it dropped. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sure they're gonna realize how much of a psycho I am when it comes to sports. But if they didn't already know, so
they have to know at some point.
Yeah, listen. I as much as people might think I put on, I'm very this is who I am when it comes to this sports fandom, and when it comes to our guys like Pendy, and I was so thrilled. Nothing could have stopped that moment for us there.
Well, and you needed it. You needed a good Sunday.
Yeah.
What would the video have been like on Saturday night, Jake?
The winning video would have been awesome. I'm sure people would have had a good chuckle at that one. There was no losing video. I sat there for a while after the pass to goal. The immediate thing when it comes to something like that is it almost it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like it actually happened as you're sitting there. You're looking up as if the game's going to continue from that point. And it's just like a 6 straight Game 7 losses, 4th time they've lost to Boston in a Game 7 since 2013. It's just the more things change, the more they stay the same. And, obviously, I know you guys mentioned this as well. Today was the media day, and, a bunch of softball questions from the media. People talk about the Toronto media and how hard it is to play. They did not throw any tough questions at Marner. All the questions about Marner came to the other players. Oh, what do you think about Mitch Marner's bell, man? Huss's bell, man.
Hot take.
Anyways, they kept asking all the other guys, oh, what do you think of Mitch Marner, the scrutiny he's taken? And, a lot of the guys were like, he's a great guy, great hockey player. It's just too simple. We want hardball questions. One of the guys actually suggested, why don't we just put one fan in there and let him ask a question to each of the guys and see how that would look. I'm sure.
What would your questions have been if you were in the scrum? Oh, we've got Jake Boland-Moss here. He's next up for you, Mitch Marner.
I don't know, Huss. I don't know. Mitch, I wanted someone to ask about the no move. No one said anything about the no move clause. Hey, Mitch, are you willing to waive your no move if that's the decision that the team wants to make? And just make him say something. I don't know. I know it's nobody asked him
about that.
To answer, but
Nobody
Nope.
asked him about his no move?
Nope.
Wow.
Not a word.
That's weird.
Will he be bullied into waiving his no move to get out of Toronto? That is, I guess, is the question. I mean, he already had the rep with how he bent the team over in the contract negotiations. Can you imagine if the word is out, the Leafs are really looking to make a deal, they want to trade Mitch, but he refuses to waive and is going to come back? I mean, what sort of a situation would that be for him next year? Not fun, I don't think.
No, I mean, there's people already saying, plant him in the press box and stuff like that. I don't know. You got to kind of just got to see what's going to happen. Elliot Friedman did say on 32 Thoughts something about that there might be a possibility that both sides are ready to move on. So, he seems to be the type of guy that would know these sort of things. You don't want to read too much into it. And I saw a lot of discourse on Twitter today. Like, we probably weren't going to get a whole lot. I think we'll learn a lot more on Thursday when the upper management speaks. I think it's a possibility that Shanny might be out. That probably follows by Keith being out. Tree Living probably sticks around because he's only been here a year. Apparently Shanny's role might become just a vacant role. Like, Shanny would be out and no one would kind of fill that spot, or maybe they just, add it to Tree Living's GM status or whatever. So yeah, it's a lot of like stuff that I'm sure people in the Nasty chat don't care about because we're focused on game one on Wednesday. But yeah, not a whole lot coming out of today's pressers. I got to look through the Keith stuff here after this call, and then we'll see what happens on Thursday and how much more we learn about the team.
If they do end up moving Marner, what are they looking like? Are they trading him for a defenseman and a middle 6'4"? Like, what do they need if Marner goes the other way to make this team better in the postseason?
It's tough to say. I know they definitely need like a stud number one, a guy you can trust out there in all situations. No offense to Morgan Riley, but we saw what happened on that last goal, and things like that have been happening for a long time. He's been here since 2013, the only guy that remains from the team in the ultimate collapse, a 4-1 collapse. So stud number one wouldn't hurt. The thing is, what are GMs putting Marner's worth at? It's the last year of a big-time contract. You don't really know what teams are interested. You don't really know, like I said, how much leverage you have to move him. You're probably not getting as much as you'd hope to be getting out of a guy like Mitch Marner is my only thing. I think a lot of people are like, just get him out of here. Doesn't matter. Bag of pucks. Like, who cares? But it's like, you do want to get the best deal for a guy like that, even if it is, a lower leverage situation with the fact that he has a no move and he has a pretty big contract and it's going to be up at the end of this season. So, yeah, I mean, ideally a stud defenseman, probably, like you said, Dusty, a defenseman, a middle six. I think people are a little delusional, unfortunately, when it comes to the return for Mitch Marner. I had a buddy of mine text and say, what if it's Parayko in a first? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, you think that St. Louis would take that deal? Like,
for 1 year, Marner?
That's what I'm saying, Huss. Like, I just think people are a little delusional in the market for what Mitch Marner's worth is in his current state.
Yeah, and a fit. I mean, we've heard, like, I saw Zegras plus. Like, it's important to note, though. I mean, you just laid it out. He's making 10-9, and there's only one more year, and then he's a UFA.
He's a year away from walking and going wherever he wants, right? So
exactly, wherever wants him. I mean, to me, if you move him, it's an internal change. It changes the core of your team a little bit, but regardless of what they get back, one of the biggest things they get back, presumably, is a hell of a lot of cap space that will allow Treliving to go and make other moves, whether it be free agency, ads, and try and get players that will be a little bit more impactful when it matters the most. I mean, you're losing a lot of offense if you trade him. But I think it's pretty clear that this group is presently constructed, just hasn't been able to get it done. And beyond next season is really interesting because Tavares is his final year, and you got basically $22 million in those two players. Regardless of what happens this offseason, the following year if Marner isn't there, Tavares, even if he's back, will be back on a much, much smaller deal and a much smaller role. Sort of you look like who can you surround Matthews and Nylander with to make this team a little bit more dangerous in playoffs. But as I said, Jake, the razor thin margin between winning and losing is so tight. I mean, one bounce goes the other way. We're talking about a team that came back from 3-1, got it done against Bruins. Bruins are the biggest chokers ever. I mean, it's it's amazing the impact of just one single goal, what that can do for the futures of franchises and so many people involved.
Yeah, it seems like we're talking about razor thin margins, all the time. Every time they're in a game 7, it's like, well, one bounce, one goal could have gone either way. I'm getting sick of it, to be honest with you, Huss. I'm sick of Tavares getting in front of the media and saying, we're right there. We're not right there. You just lost another first round for like the billionth time since the Matthews era started making the playoffs, and the Washington series. 2 Boston series, a series against Columbus where they couldn't get it done, a series where they were up 3-1 against the Montreal Canadiens, couldn't get it done, a series against Tampa, and then a second round series against a Florida team that no one was really, really high on, just squeaked into the playoffs last year. Obviously, they went all the way, but a series where they were lifeless, really, like lost in 5, and then we're back in another game 7 overtime loss, and you're staring down the barrel of like, okay, what's next? The bright side is, like you said, Huss, Tavares has 1 more year in his contract at $11 million. He'll be coming off the books. Marner, who knows what happens. I wouldn't be shocked if he's back for 1 more year because of just the way the no move works and stuff like that. He comes off the books. You're talking about $20 million in cap space that you can use towards other things to surround yourself, to surround Matthews and Nylander with guys that can help you win. Because, listen, like you said, they're gonna lose some offense if you lose Mitch Marner, but he wasn't gaining them a ton of offense in the playoffs as it is, and that seems to be where they're struggling to score and win hockey games. I know the cliche right now is, well, we got to win hockey games 2-1 in the playoffs. At the same time, it wouldn't hurt to blow a team out in a game or 2 either. Winning 4-1 wouldn't hurt. So
no, you'd take it. That's for sure. So, Jake, I feel like you're handling this really well, buddy. So we appreciate you sliding in here today.
Hey,
yeah, I mean the Pendy win, and then Lando Norris winning as well. I'm a big McLaren guy.
Was nice to see. That was nice to see Lando win. I agree, 100%.
22-1. You know me. I don't really pay too much attention to F1, but Dusty, kind of coming out of the pandemic when we were doing the lock shop, I would blindly bet Verstappen every week, whenever I remember to do it, and. It was even money. It was plus 125. It was minus 110. He was minus 750. I saw for this one. And Lando Norris was 22-1.
This is just this is the second race all season that somebody's won outside of Verstappen. So it was a big win. It was a big win for Lando.
What happened to Max? It's kind of funny what we're saying, but how did he not win?
Well, Lando took advantage of a safety car. Now, he was already in front of him anyway, but he took advantage of the safety car to get pit stop in. However, after the restart, Max was in second, and usually on any sort of restart, Max will just take over and pass the guy. But he wasn't able to overtake Lando, and Lando ended up pulling away and winning by 7.5 seconds. So it was pretty impressive. I think Ferrari's got more upgrades coming. McLaren just dropped some upgrades in there, so we'll see if more of these guys can start to push Verstappen as well. But Lando's it was a pretty emotional thing. McLaren only had 1 win in their last 12 years. Lando had never won either. They'd been all around it. It was nice to see Lando Norris finally get one, to be honest with you.
I think it's good for the sport too. I mean,
100%.
When Max is winning every week, it's very boring, and it's kind of turned me off of it. But to see Lando win, that was when I started watching Drive to Survive. That's kind of who I tied my that's the team that I was kind of rooting for. So it was good to see Lando, come up with McLaren and then finally get one with them yesterday.
Huss, you're muted. Did bell go off again?
I'm just trying to be careful if there are any more bells. Yeah. Once or twice a year, they just blast them randomly at any time, testing the fire alarms in the building. I was just saying, I assume that Lando's named after Lando Calrissian of Star Wars fame. I mean, how many other Landos are there? Hey, by the way, in chat, Jen Cooley, what's up, Jen? What do you think of Backlash? Predictable for me? Yeah, it was. We didn't really talk about it much. I was going to kind of get into it with the odds on Friday, but I mean, the favorites were such overwhelming favorites, and it pretty much went according to plan. So it wasn't too great an event as far as for betting. But I see Zulu's there, and Zulu's with me. I like the Nuggets at plus 113 to come back and win that series. I got on that as well. Utilize the 20% win boost. So if the Nuggets win this series and win the NBA championship, I will really be benefiting from this 20 percenters, because I've sort of leaned on the Nuggets with those wagers over the last few weekends, and they're in a good spot. Jake, before we finish up, I got to ask you this. Edmonton is such an overwhelming favorite. Are you with me? Like, I don't think Vancouver's getting enough credit, and I think that they are undervalued. I'm not saying that they're going to win the series, but with what they've done so far this year, the way they battled through Nashville, how familiar they are with Edmonton and success they've had before, I think it's almost criminal that they're plus 220 underdogs in this series. But I sort of get it, because everyone, it seems, assumes Edmonton is going to roll.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it helps that we got a huge Edmonton base, and there's probably a ton of money. I haven't taken a look, but I imagine there's a ton of money coming in on Edmonton, one way or the other. So I could be playing a bit of a factor. But yeah, I hear you, Huss. I think, like, if you're talking about just from a value standpoint, I wouldn't say the Canucks are a bad bet. But listen, I'm not gonna sit on here and have the nasties rip into me after all the apologies I've gotten today about the Leafs loss. Thanks a lot, guys. Feeling fantastic. Speaking of, though, I did mention it in the nasty chat, and it is up now. I'm calling it Mac and Mick. Avalanche and Edmonton both to win their second round series. That would give us a Western Conference final of the Avs and Oilers plus 210. That's numbers boosted from like plus 180, I believe. So.
Hey, I've been begging for that series ever since the Jets got eliminated. So you can count on the Hustlerama account getting in on that one. Even though I think I might take. I'm just looking at the series total, and again, we'll have a little bit more time because this series doesn't get going until Wednesday, which is not over 6.5 games, or final game of the series. Like series to go to 7 is plus 230, and I think we're getting 6 for sure. Over 5.5 is minus 167. Although I guess the final game of the series, if you bet game 6 and game 7, plus 190 and plus 230, I think you're probably better off doing that bet than betting the same amount on over 5.5. That's actually the way that I think I would do it. But again, we will see. Tonight, we get Florida and Boston, and a couple good hoops games as well to get going. Zulu and I, we need Nuggets, even this thing up at 1, and then watch that line change.
Also, I cannot believe, I'm totally with you guys. I can't believe this Rangers series price at minus 135 up a game in the series already.
Yeah.
I don't even understand. So I did add as well the City That Never Sleeps exclusive. Rangers and Knicks both to win their second round series is at the current price, plus 165 if you like the Knicks to take over in their series against the Pacers. And that's with the current number on the Rangers. I can't believe it. Like, I got to go get on that number right now, because I like the Rangers pre-series as a dog. And the fact that they're only minus 135 up a game, I'm not sold on Carolina. I think they're fraudulent. I think they've been fraudulent every year. They haven't made a Stanley Cup final with this core, and I don't think all of a sudden they're just going to break through.
They haven't won a game in the conference finals. They've been swept every time.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point.
But and again, we kind of get into this throughout the week. But right now, the Rangers are minus 135 for the series. Carolina's plus money, and yet to win the cup, Carolina's plus 450 and the Rangers are plus 600. Like if you like the Rangers, the value, like I can't believe that those numbers aren't almost reversed based on what the series price is and what we've seen so far. So Rangers at plus 600, nice value right there for you. And you know what? Here's another
250 plus 250 to win the East. Is that what you were supposed to say?
No, I was just going to say it's interesting that the Avalanche are underdogs in their series against Dallas, and yet the Avs are 5-1 and Dallas is 6-1 to win the cup. Like there's some nice spots on the Stanley Cup futures for a couple teams if you like them. Dallas and the Rangers. I think that number you're getting on those two, it just doesn't seem to compute with what we're seeing on the series price and everything else going around. So something to think about if you like either of those teams. Getting them at 6-1 right now, I think is a steal considering where their opponents are in the Cup futures.
So what's coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk, buddy?
Well, we got Jeff Hamilton coming on, and really just the big news today, Rick Bowness retiring, and Bones actually is going to have his presser at 2, so we'll carry that live as well. And Dusty, you're going to like this. We're getting ready. CFL back this week. Rookie camp starting. Milt Stiegel suiting up for day one. So we'll head over to Bomber HQ and get ready for that and kind of recap the draft and everything else with Eddie Tate of BlueBombers.com.
Beauty, Jake. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
There you go. That's
Thanks,
Jake and Huss. Huss coming up with Winnipeg Sports Talk just around the corner here. We have the oil stream rolling in and a little bit as well right here on EST. Tommy Gazzola down at practice today. Just taking a look at some exclusives on the NHL slate tonight. Brad Marchand, Kachuk, and Verhaeghe all to record a point, plus 225. Barkov and Marchand to record assists, plus 350. Points from the point. Forsling and McAvoy, plus 45. The Lamplighters, Pasternak and Kachuk, plus 575. And Monday Night Mayhem, Panthers and Bruins to have under 6.5 total goals, but the game goes to overtime at plus 650. And one more time that if you like Colorado and Edmonton in the conference final, get them both to win their second round series right now at plus 210. I just got on that one myself. And I do like the Florida Panthers in regulation tonight. If you combine that with Anthony Edwards over 29.5, it can get you up to a plus 222 number. Jake says the draft lottery odds. Remember when we used to care about that? That was always fun. Draft lottery odds post as well. There's NHL draft. So if you want to bet on the lottery, you can do that as well. San Jose plus 270. These would just be the odds that you would see coming out of the lottery. Chicago plus 550. The Ducks 7-1. So if you believe in the conspiracy around the NHL to give Bedard Celebrini as well, plus 550 on the Hawks to win the lottery. Of course, lotteries don't matter here in Edmonton anymore because they have a Stanley Cup contender. So that's nice. All right, that's going to do it for the Lock Shop today. We will be back tomorrow, one day closer to the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks, game 1 of that series. We'll start to set that up. Tommy and I are going to break down all the positions, who's got the advantages where. Are the Canucks being sold a little bit short in this series? We'll get into that as well. Henrique and Kane not on the ice at practice today. Tommy will have the latest on that as well. Thank you very much for joining us in the Lock Shop today. Good luck tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.